Hello, welcome back. So today I want to ask a very important question. Can you bullet journal with a Kokuyo soft ring notebook? So this is a Kokuyo notebook I purchased at Kinokuniya in Katy. It's got a plastic cover, much like a 5-star notebook you might find at your regular American school supply store. I purchased this for $10.75. Might have been a discount that weekend. Not a deep discount, but it's fine. So the key features of this notebook are, of course, the soft ring. So when you write and you know you have your notebook open, your hand just instead of bumping into the coil, you just press down and you keep writing. Another feature, which I think is really interesting, is let's see if the camera will focus. The lines are dot lined. So instead of having just a plain graph paper or dot matrix, you have lines with dots. So that means you can have your lined paper when you want it, or you could have your bullet journal style paper if you want that too. So this would be ideal for note taking in class, obviously. But the question I had was, could I use this as a bullet journal? Is this another option? So here you see I've had a pen test here. So that's the Sailor Ink of the Year. It's this really fun orange color. I also bought a new pen when I bought this notebook. Here is the new pen. Isn't it pretty? I like it. It's a deep burgundy color. It's the same color as my planner for the year. So there we go. And it's a little Kaweco Sport, a little pocket pen. It's very lightweight. It writes really well. I have no complaints right now. The only cartridge I have in it is the cartridge it came with. It's this really interesting blue-purple color. I'm not sure if they pick a random color to put in their pens when they sell them, or if it's always this bluish purple color. But it's a fun color, and I've been playing with it. So let's take a look at this notebook. So I did some math up here. So the dots are 23 horizontally and 30 vertically. And so I did some math here. And I figured out if you want to cut it into a quad, you need 11.5 by 15. If you want to cut it into thirds, you need 7.5. I said 7.6, but really you can do 7 or 7.5. Either one's good, by 10. And then quarters. So what's the difference between a quad and a quarter? A quad is if you're going to cut your paper into a quadrant, and quarters is if you're going to have 4 vertical quarters on your sheet of paper. So I will explain that in detail now. So let's zoom in just a little bit to look at the papers, the pages rather. Okay, so there's a lot going on, but this is if you want to cut your paper in half. Okay, so going back to my measurements page, that is 11.5. So here we are at 11.5. So let's say you want to have a take a note style planner spread in your bullet journal. So that means you have 2 days per page. So you cut it down the middle and you can have Monday, Tuesday, so on and so forth. So what would that look like? So you can have your timeline of everything you want to do and your to-do list. Or you could just have your to-do list and a journaling section. If you're reading this journaling section, please note that this is only a test for fun. I wanted to see how it felt when I wrote with my hand hard up against this coil. And I have to say, I'm happy to report, as advertised, it was really easy to write in this notebook. I didn't have any problems. We'll say that because this is at the beginning of the notebook, there is still a height difference. So if I played around with it and made the pages equally at height, and you know what I mean, you know, there's this big gap when you just have the new page. But if you bring some forward and even out the height of the different sides of your notebook, then your hand just glides right across. I can demonstrate here. Hello. No problem. Yay. See? Okay. Let's move on to the quadrant style. So this is if you want to cut your pages into four quadrants on each page, allowing you to have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and a bonus box. So if you did that, the quadrant style, 4 days per page, you would have a 2.5 inch vertical box by a 3 1/4. I'm sorry, this is 2.5 horizontal and 3 1/4 vertical. So those would be the measurements. Still plenty of room for washi at the top and the bottom if you wanted it. So here's another look. If you wanted an EC or Happy Planner style box, you could totally do that. In fact, you have a perfect amount of room. As you see here, you have 1.5 inches horizontally and 2 1/8 inch vertically. So that could easily fit in some headers up here and some full box style stickers like you would use in the Erin Condren planner. So that's nice. Now, let's say you didn't want to do the box, the traditional 1, 2, 3 morning, afternoon, evening style box. You could do a vertical hourly. And this is, again, cutting up your page into thirds vertically. You could also cut them into horizontal spaces here and still get 6 days on 2 pages. So back to the vertical hourly, you have enough time if you skip every other line to go from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. If you don't like that style, you could have plenty of room for notes, appointments, and whatever highlights or exercise data you want to record. And then no matter how you look at it, you're going to have to split up either a vertical column or horizontal for Saturday and Sunday. This is an A5 notebook, so I mean, that just comes with the territory of an A5 notebook. Had I bought a larger B5 or I'm not sure what the other size was, I'm pretty sure it was a B5. It's quite a bit larger, so I could have easily had an extra full section for Saturday and Sunday, but it's fine. You know, if I didn't want to split it a vertical column, I could have made this section a Saturday and this section a Sunday. I could have still done my timeline here, my to-do list here, and my notes of the day here. It would have been just fine. And the monthly calendar. So you can do this 2 ways. So if you want, you can have your monthly calendar like this. It's a little bit different. I've never actually done a bullet journal calendar like this, but I'm just playing around and looking at possibilities. So here we have 4x4 boxes, and you can have 7 this way and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 this way. So that's one option. The second option is to have the calendar on 2 pages, and then you can make your boxes a little bit bigger, and you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. You get enough to have 7 days plus a bonus column, and you can use that for your notes. Or, okay, so going back to this, if you have your calendar on this page, you know, these boxes are rather small, so you can have this whole other page for different notes going with your monthly box. So let's say, for example, you know, I had a dentist appointment this day. I could make a mark, and then I could go over here and I could make another mark and say, you know, dentist, right? That's easy. So I also have to note that this paper is smooth and a lovely shade of bright white, but not too jarring to the eye. The lines are a very light gray. It's smooth with nearly no tooth. I felt paper like the Passion Planner, and that is absolutely toothless paper. It is just as slick can get. This is not that paper. It is smooth, but not quite as smooth, which I prefer. I prefer a little tooth, but not too much tooth. This paper doesn't have nearly as much tooth as, let's say, an Erin Condren Mohawk paper planner. So there it is. If you wanted to pick up a relatively inexpensive notebook, Japanese brand notebook like this one, if you like rings, or if you're left-handed, or otherwise, foiled by a coil, you can pick up one of these notebooks, and you can turn it into a bujo. I might use this one for a little bujo / journal to play with my fountain pens, because as you can see, this paper is fountain pen friendly. You do get a little bit of ghosting, but if you're like me and that really doesn't bother you, then this will be fine for you. If that does bother you, if you don't like ghosting, this may not be for you. So I'm going to probably decorate my covers back and front with something a little bit more fun. And hopefully I can share that with you here later on. Thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed my review of this notebook. It will bujo, so there you go. Thank you. Bye, friends.